Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dean Zenick. I'm president of the Palm Beach County Bar Association. On behalf of the Palm Beach County Bar Association's Board of Directors and our members, we welcome you to a judicial affair honoring our past and present Black judiciary in Palm Beach County. We have a rich legacy of Black judges in our county, and this year for Black History Month, we wanted to celebrate them, their outstanding achievements, and their significant contributions to Palm Beach County. As you know, our Bar Association in general, and specifically our Committee for Diversity and Inclusion, which has been in existence for over 10 years, has made diversity and inclusion paramount to our mission. Today's program exemplifies this commitment, and we are delighted to present today's program. We would like to thank the F. Malcolm Cunningham Senior Bar Association for partnering with us on this venture and for their assistance in making today's program possible. Thank you also to all of the judges, public officials, and attendees who are present. We hope you enjoy the program. I will now turn it over to Hershely Auger for our invocation. Take it away.
Thank you. My name is Hershely Auger, and I'm the current president of F. Malcolm Cunningham Senior Bar Association. Please join me and bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come together on this day. We thank you for all that you've done and all that you're going to do. You've allowed us to gather today to honor and to continue the legacy that is our judiciary here in Palm Beach County. We thank you for providing these individuals with the courage and the wisdom and the vision to continue to serve our community. I also would like to pray for our entire judiciary as we open the courthouses to jury trials again. I pray for their safety, and I pray for all the individuals, including the clerk staff and anyone that's currently working in the courthouse. We humbly ask that you continue to lead the way so that we can continue to help our community and make this world a better place. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. And now the national anthems.
Lawanda, the audio's not on.
And we are working to get the sound on.
Lawanda, the audio's not on.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Danielle Sheree, and I'm the immediate past president of the F. Malcolm Cunningham Bar Association. I would like to begin by thanking all the current and former judges in attendance, as well as our elected officials who are with us here today. It is with sincere gratitude that we recognize our sponsors for today's event. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath. Celicia Smith Gordon. Retired Florida Supreme Court Justice Barbara Pariente. Murray Gorey, trial attorneys. Gelfand and Arp. Brinkley, Morgan. Reed, Berman, Leddecker, Zenig, and Pepin. Keene, Law. Daniel Zuniga, Personal Injury of Florida. Law Office of Christopher A. Haddad. Fox Rothschild. Osero P. LLC. Presley, Randolph, and Presley. Searcy Denny, Scarola, Barnhart, and Shipley. Smith and Ball, Injury Law. Lorna Brown Burton, Florida Board Bar of Governors, representative for the 17th Circuit. And lastly, we would like to extend a very special thank you to John Howe, past president of the Palm Beach County Bar Association, for lending his voice to narrate our video presentation. Over to you, Luanda.
Thank you, Danielle. I now want to give a history of our past and present Black judiciary here in Palm Beach County. It all started with Judge Edward Rodgers, who served from 1973 to 1995 on the county and circuit bench. Maurice Hall, 1984 to 1989. Judge Jerome Davis, 1984 to 1986. Judge I.C. Smith, 1986 to 1993. Judge W. Matthew Stevenson, 1989 on the circuit court, and from 1994 to 2016 on the 4th District Court of Appeal. Judge Carole Taylor, 17th Judicial Circuit, 1991 on the circuit court, 1991 on the county court, 1995 on the circuit court, and then she served on the 4th District Court of Appeal from 1998 until she retired in 2020. Judge Sheree Cunningham, she served on the county court from 1993 to 2020. Judge Moses Baker Jr., who served from 1994 to 2017 on the circuit court. Judge Catherine Brunson, who served from 1994 to 2018 on the circuit court. We currently have 6 sitting Black judges here in Palm Beach County. Judge Debra Moses Stevens, who was appointed in 2000. Judge Reginald Corlew, who was appointed in 2006. Judge Cymonie Rowe, who was appointed in 2016. Judge Bradley Harper, who was elected in 2016. Judge Maxine Cheesman, who was elected in 2018. And then we also have Judge Renatha Francis, who joined us in Palm Beach County in 2019 and who previously served in Miami-Dade Court in 2017. At the county level, she was appointed. In 2018, she was appointed at the circuit court. This history is not just Black history. This is American history. We thank all of the past and present judges for paving the way and continuing to provide the highest level of service to our community here in Palm Beach County. To honor them, the Bar Association is making a donation to our diversity and diversity internship program, where we provide funding for diverse candidates to work at government and law firms. We have also prepared a video to display this rich history. We hope that you enjoy this video. One moment.
Palm Beach County has a rich history of Black judiciary. Several Black judges have blazed the trail for our Black jurors who serve Palm Beach County today.
I've been truly blessed during those breakfasts, it's usually breakfast time, to connect and befriend Judge Baker, Judge Brunson, Judge Cunningham, Judge Taylor, and Judge Stevenson, all of the retired judges in our circuit, as well as on the 4th District Court of Appeal. I consider them to be my friends and now my mentors. They've always deposited wisdom and understanding, as well as just giving me sage and sound advice. And I've appreciated that in my life.
The legacy of the Black judiciary in Palm Beach County began with the appointment of Judge Edward Rodgers. In 1973, then Governor Reuben Askew appointed Judge Rodgers to serve as a county court judge, making him the first Black judge in Palm Beach County. He was then elevated to the circuit court bench in 1977 and served with distinction until his retirement in 1995. Judge Rodgers was an extraordinary jurist and community leader. During his 22-year tenure on the bench, he served as chief judge and administrative judge in both the county and circuit courts.
To meet Judge Rodgers and Judge I.C. Smith, who went out of their way to try and speak to any Black attorney who wanted to talk to them. They would talk to us and encourage us, and if we had problems, we could even come there and speak to them. It was like having a parent there to go ahead and encourage you and to correct any mistakes you were making and to help you to succeed. And that really was the role that they played. They encouraged us to succeed in our job. And so Judge Rodgers and Judge I.C. Smith were on the bench when I came in. And then Carole Taylor and Matthew Stevenson, they both were on the bench after that. Carole Taylor is another one, open door policy, ready to encourage you. That made a huge difference to me. And then finally, Judge Cunningham Judge Brunson, before I actually became a judge. These people have always had a way of encouraging us to be the best we can be.
As you may be aware, there are two ways to become a judge: appointment by a governor and running a judicial campaign for election.
My road to the bench, I think, is a little different than most. Early in my life, I played football, and my goal was to play football in the NFL. So in high school, I worked hard and trained very hard to that end. I earned a scholarship to play football at the University of Florida, where I continued to work hard with the hopes and dreams of playing in the NFL. But like many, I fell short and didn't make it. So then I had to decide to do something different, and I chose to go to law school. Because I was a football player, most people didn't think I could get accepted into law school, let alone graduate. However, I got accepted into Southern University Law School and did very well and graduated. Then I went on to earn a master's degree of law in tax at SMU Law School. And from there, I took a job with the federal government as a tax trial litigator in federal court. And so during my career, I was approached by some who said, you have a very good temperament and you're very knowledgeable with the law. I think you'd make a very good judge in the federal tax court, which was my expertise. But that would require me to move to Washington, D.C. So I chose the state court route and was appointed by the governor in 2006.
I actually went for the election. I did it twice. The first time again, I didn't know what I was doing. I just went in it and got 16,000 votes, and I thought, oh, great. But of course I lost. The second time I did it, I was prepared. I had a campaign manager. I went around and I made all the connections that I needed to with the officials and stuff, so they knew who I was. And I got a lot of endorsements because people got to know me. And I really, really loved the experience. It's grueling, but I loved it. You get to meet people, the people who put you here. And one of the values of going through the election process is because you are reminded that you're here to do a service. It's service for those people. And that's what we're all about. its service.
In 1984, former Governor Robert Graham appointed Judge Maurice Hall to the Circuit Court bench. 2 years after his appointment, he ran uncontested to keep his judicial seat and remained on the bench for a total of 5.5 years. During his tenure as governor, Governor Graham appointed a few Black judges to the Palm Beach County bench. He understood the importance of diversity on the judiciary. So why is judiciary important to the bench?
You need to reflect the community that you're from, and it helps in the perception. It's not just the pursuit of it.
It's not really just about what you do in the courtroom, but it's about what you're doing off the bench to ensure that we have a justice system that reflects the greatness of America and the beauty of everything that we are.
In addition to the previously mentioned judges, Governor Graham also appointed Judge Isaiah I.C. Smith to the bench in 1986. Judge Smith was a civil rights pioneer who, prior to his tenure on the bench, fought alongside with other Black legal pioneers, attorneys William Bill Holland, F. Malcolm Cunningham Sr., and Thomas T.J. Cunningham Sr., to successfully integrate the county's previously segregated institutions, such as the Florida Turnpike's rest area restrooms, Palm Beach County Public Schools, the West Palm Beach Municipal Golf Course, and the Palm Beach County Bar Association, respectively. Judge Smith served on the bench until 1992. It should also be noted that Mr. Holland was the first Black attorney and the first Black municipal judge in the county.
It was never my intention to become a judge. I wanted to be a really good lawyer. I went to Howard University School of Law, and they take a great deal of time in telling you, before you earn all that money, you really need to remember you're a social engineer, that you have to go out there and fight the fights that no one else wants to fight. To that end, I started out in the public defender's office. Now, I will say my parents from a very early age started me out in a lot of community service work. Girl Scouts, the high school they enrolled me in was 4 hours per week in community service. So I already had a sense that in order to lead, you really do have to serve. And so when I went to the public defender's office, I had that energy in me. Let me hit the ground running. And I really enjoyed my work there. I felt like I contributed, like I helped people out.
The legacy continued with Judge W. Matthew Stevenson, who was appointed to the Circuit Court bench in 1989 by former Governor Bob Martinez. He was later appointed to the 4th District Court of Appeal in 1994 by former Governor Lawton Chiles, making him the first Black judge to be appointed to this court. He served as its chief from July 1st, 2005 until June 30th, 2007. Judge Carole Taylor was the first Black female judge to serve on the 4th District Court of Appeal. She was appointed by Governor Chiles to serve in 1998. Judge Taylor first became a judge when she was appointed to the Broward County Court for the 17th Judicial Circuit in 1991 by Governor Chiles. In 1995, she was elevated to the Broward County Circuit Court, making her the first Black female judge to serve on the court. She retired from the 4th District Court of Appeal in 2020. In 1993, Judge Sheree Cunningham was appointed to the county court bench by Governor Chiles. She was the first Black female judge in Palm Beach County and served until her retirement in 2020. Following Judge Cunningham's appointment, Judge Moses Baker Jr. was appointed to the Circuit Court by Governor Chiles in 1994. While on the bench, he presided in both the civil and juvenile divisions and retired in 2017. Governor Chiles also appointed Judge Catherine Brunson to the Circuit Court bench in 1994. She was the first Black female attorney to practice law in Palm Beach County and the first Black female to be appointed to the Circuit Court bench. Judge Brunson retired in 2018. Serving on the bench is a huge responsibility, but it is extremely rewarding.
Understand that the job is hard. All of the circuit judges here work extremely hard, long hours, working weekends, working early in the morning, working late at night. The job is also a 24-hour-a-day job. So even though you leave the courthouse, even though you leave the bench, you're still on duty. People are still looking at you. People are still watching you. And you are still representing not only the 15th Circuit, but all judges throughout the state and the nation. So it's an overwhelming responsibility, but it truly also is one of the most rewarding jobs I've ever had.
There are currently 6 Black judges serving Palm Beach County. Judge Debra Moses Stevens was appointed to the county court bench in 2000 by former Governor Jeb Bush. She was recently reelected in 2020 with opposition. Judge Reginald Corlew was appointed to the county court bench in 2006 by Governor Bush as well. He was recently reelected in 2020 without opposition. Judge Cymonie Rowe was appointed to the circuit court by former Governor Rick Scott in 2016. Judge Bradley Harper was elected to the county court bench in 2016, making him the first Black attorney elected without being previously appointed by a governor. Judge Maxine Cheesman was elected to the circuit court bench in 2018. Judge Cheesman is the first person of Jamaican heritage to serve on the bench in Palm Beach County. Lastly, Judge Renatha Francis, also of Jamaican heritage, was appointed to the circuit court bench in 2019 by Governor Ron DeSantis. Prior to her service in Palm Beach County, Judge Francis was appointed to the Miami-Dade County Court in 2017 by former Governor Rick Scott and subsequently elevated to Miami-Dade Circuit Court in 2018. The legacy should not stop here. It is extremely important that we encourage diversity on all levels of our judiciary. Diversity on the bench is beneficial to our legal and general community as it, 1, fosters public confidence in the courts, 2, gives decision-making power to formerly disenfranchised populations, and 3, promotes equal justice for all citizens. Also, each of our Black judiciary have a unique perspective that benefits our overall judiciary. We encourage those who are seeking to become judges to continue the legacy.
I would tell young people, don't let others define you. And when you begin your practice of law, develop an extremely good temperament, be very courteous to others, develop good writing skills, and be compassionate about the law, because these are the qualities you'll be measured by as a lawyer and when being considered to be a judge.
We have a responsibility both on the bench and off the bench to begin to understand and have discussions about our justice system, what it is, and what the promise of America, the American justice system should be.
Make sure that you're persistent. And not only persistent, make sure that you're also surrounding yourself with people who can help get you to the goal. Stay persistent. For the road to the bench is twofold. You know that you can either run or you can go through the appointment process. My experience has been for the appointment process. And I can tell you that the very first time, a lot of people don't, the very first time I applied to be a judge, I wasn't successful. It was for county court in Miami. I understood at that time that I had something that I think was, needed. Miami-Dade, despite its large, diverse population, had only had judges, 2 African-American female judges, at the time that I applied.
We thank our rich legacy of Black judiciary in Palm Beach County for their service to our profession, the community, and for their contributions to the bench.
Thank you. I now have the honor of introducing former Supreme Court Justice James E.C. Perry. Justice Perry was the 85th Justice of the Supreme Court, serving from 2009 until 2016. He's a native of Newborn, North Carolina, and was appointed by Governor Charlie Crist and took office there in 2009. Before his appointment, he served as a circuit court judge in the 18th Judicial Circuit. He attended St. Augustine University, graduating in 1966 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Administration. He met his future bride at Columbia Law School. They had 3 children, 2 are attorneys, and 1 is a human resource manager. Justice Perry has been involved in several organizations, as well as the NAACP, Board of Trustees of St. Augustine University, and has been a member of Carter CME Tabernacle Church of Orlando for more than 30 plus years. As an attorney, he was recognized for his legal skills and abilities. He has received numerous honors from multiple bar associations. He even served as a Holland Luncheon speaker for the Cunningham Bar Association. He is a recipient of an honorary doctorate of law degrees from Stetson University and Nova Southeastern University College of Law. He is frequently asked to speak at schools and at functions for his great advice that he typically provides. He was the first African-American appointed to the 18th Judicial Circuit. And at that time, he brought a high level of professionalism, knowledge, and skill to the bench. We hope that you enjoyed Justice Perry's speech because we know he will do the same here.
Got to unmute myself. Thank you for that introduction. It is indeed a pleasure to talk with you today during the brief time that I've been allotted. It's also good to see so many of my former colleagues and friends who have since retired. I guess I'm sort of a Neanderthal. I heard how most of you got to the bench, even to the law. My story is completely different. I'll bore you with a few minutes of it. Upon graduating from St. Augustine's, I was drafted into the military, and then I was, so I volunteered for the draft. Vietnam was hot then. In order to go to officer candidate school, and I received a commission as a second lieutenant. And I stayed on during my 2-year engagement, and I was due to make captain, and that was the night Martin Luther King was killed was the night I decided to attend law school. I decided to attend law school simply to further the cause of justice that King has striven for so many years. I'm a child of the 60s, and that was in my DNA, and it still is. It never was to make money. I didn't expect to become a judge because I realized that those who kick doors down, no, I'm not let in. So I fully understood that. But integrity is the hallmark. My mantra was, it's better to be respected than liked, because you can always learn to like somebody you respect, but the reverse isn't true. So I was able to gain the respect of my colleagues, even though my purpose might have been antithetical to some of them. But anyway, that was my story. Why Black History Month? Because we were left out of our shared history of this country, and Black lives did not matter at its inception. Why not all lives matter? Well, all lives do matter, except Black matters didn't matter as much, if at all, in a humanistic manner in our country. And that mindset predates the very founding of this country and was incorporated into the Constitution, where we were considered 3/5, and we weren't even considered as human beings. And it was affirmed in the Dred Scott case. I'm sure you know about that. I won't bore you with that, which basically said that people of African descent never intend to be citizens under the US Constitution, and was reaffirmed in Plessy when the fiction was set up that of separate but equal, and manifested in the Jim Crow laws across the nation, but primarily across the South, and enforced by extra legal white hate groups. We don't have those now. And legal law enforcement. Although the Constitution, the courts, and the laws have attempted to right the wrongs, the vestiges still remain. When I watched our Capitol being stormed on January 6th, and shots weren't fired for fear of life, and I juxtaposed that with unarmed Black people being killed because of the color of their skin, and for a fear of life, and for simply existing, it became apparent to me that Black lives still don't matter as much. Because had that Capitol been stormed by Black people, there would have been a flow of blood down Pennsylvania Avenue that was unheard of. How they were able to exercise restraint in view of the fact that some of an officer was killed and they were trying to kill other members of our government, it just blows my mind. And the attempt to stop the Electoral College from certifying votes, the vote count, that was the ultimate voter suppression, which has always been at the core of Black suppression and terror for Black Americans. That is our history, and we need to deal with it. I realize that this conversation is painful discourse for many. Healing is always painful, but necessary. Prior to the 2016 election, racism was a prime concern for me as a Black man. But subsequently, my focus has been the subliminal and direct attack on our democratic form of government. As Ben Franklin most famously said, democracy is the best form of government if you can keep it. In George Washington's farewell address, he began the tradition of pardon officials offering interested warnings by one who can't possibly have no personal motive to bias his counsel. In that vein, I feel it's my duty to warn of the storm that is already upon us. This great experiment of ours, Republican democracy, is in peril, not from outside foes, but from within. Our founding fathers were primarily lawyers who created the Constitution of this country based upon their shared knowledge of antiquity and shared experience of constitutional monarchies. With that base, the founders knew the downfall and privilege of each system, and after lengthy debates, chose to create the three co-equal branches of government. I want you to know what they are. But these branches are the three load-bearing legs of a stool which undergirds our democracy. The system cannot survive without any one of them, and each one supporting its share of the weight of our nation. To disrespect either one of the branches is to cut one leg of the stool, which causes a nation to topple. Washington said, and I quote, "Citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has a right to celebrate your affections. The name Americans, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any appellation derived from local discrimination." In other words, the first loyalty of all Americans should be to America, not to your region, not to your state, not to a political party, not to an organization, not to an individual. But we the people have allowed partisan politics to creep in like so many termites and weaken the structure that supports us. We the people have accepted the vilification of branches caused by termites as though there is no solution. We the people have turned against one another and divided ourselves more than when this country was last almost split in two. America needs its citizens now more than ever to seek and speak the truth. Each of us with our blended histories, our backgrounds from far-flung corners of the globe, brought here, together form the most diverse and prosperous nation on planet Earth. Each of us, the indigenous, settlers, each wave of immigrants, whether brought here through chains of slavery or promise of freedom, contributed to a tapestry that is uniquely America. We the people have coalesced for centuries. Now somehow, some think that we can be stronger divided, and that at any given time, only a quarter of our populace has the answer, and that the rest are sheep waiting to be led to slaughter. As Martin Luther King once said, "Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity." In an attempt to strive for the more perfect union, we have allowed the quest of perfection to displace the needs of many. It is up to each of us, but especially to the youth of this country, the young lawyers specifically, with their goal to ensure and advocate for a fair justice system. And I didn't say legal system, I said justice system. and to protect the interests of their fellow citizens, to defend most of the visions of the founders had, because some of the visions were antithetical to me and most of you, to defend this great experiment and the Constitution as amended, on which it is based. As Justice Louis Brandeis said, the greatest menace to freedom is an inert people. Public discussion is a political duty. I therefore call upon you to perform that duty with the courage of your convictions, to listen with your eyes, because talk is cheap, and we have witnessed many untruths. A lie told 1,000 times is still a lie. An old adage is, don't believe your lying eyes. Your eyes are not lying. Listen to your eyes and see with your eyes. You must publicly rebuke the threats to our republic democracy. This is not a red or blue issue, lest it be engulfed by flames of the partisan politics of that our first president warned against. We need to save our country so that we can fully enjoy its diversity and make Black Lives Matter too. In closing, I would like to share a poem with you that hopefully encapsulate all of the points that I've attempted to make in the time frame allotted. I got this from a diversity group. Justice Perriente, you probably remember this, but here it is. 6 humans trapped by circumstances in the black and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the stories told. Their dying fire in need of logs. The first woman held hers back. Of the faces around the fire, she noticed one was Black. The next man looked across the way, saw not one from his church, and could not bring himself to give to them his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his shirt a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of all the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The Black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight. For all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spike the white. And the last man of this forlorn group did nothing except for gain. Give to only those who pay was how he played the games. The logs held tight in death-steel hands, proof of human sins. They did not die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Perry.
Percy.
Yes, thank you, Justice Perry, for those words. I hope they were inspiring to everyone that's watching right now, as it was inspiring to me. Thank you for your time today. As a member of the Palm Beach Bar Association and the president of F. Malcolm Cunningham Senior Bar Association, I would like to thank everyone for coming to our program today. We hope that this program that highlighted our past and present Black judiciary here in Palm Beach County was enlightening and educational. Special thank you to all of our sponsors and of course our keynote speaker, Justice Perry. To the judges that were recognized today, we thank you. We thank you, we thank you for paving the way for the future. Happy Thursday and happy Black History Month.
So long, everybody.